All right. Hello, everybody. We are going to be going over 2.5, talking about the ice giants. These are the last of the four giant planets that we're going to talk about in our solar system. So, in the last section, we talked about Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn are the largest two, and they're considered gas giants. Uranus and Neptune used to be considered gas giants, but have been reclassified as ice giants because they are significantly different. And the main difference comes down to their composition. Jupiter and Saturn have what we think it have a rocky core, and then they are mostly hydrogen and helium, about 80%. Uranus and Neptune are only about 20% hydrogen and helium, but they contain a lot of methane gas, and they have a mantle that contains a lot of water, ammonia, and methane ices, with a much smaller core. There in the picture, you can see the size of the Earth compared to both Uranus and Neptune. Not, much smaller, but not as much smaller as it is compared to Saturn and Jupiter. All right, so we're going to start talking about Uranus. And notice the picture, how it's tilted. We're going to talk a little bit about the tilt. It is the seventh planet and the third largest, discovered in 1781 by Herschel. Something interesting about the original name, instead of Uranus, he was going to call it Georgium Sidus after King George III. And if you are thinking maybe you've heard of King George III, it just so happens that he was the King of England during the Revolutionary War against the States. And Herschel was going to name it after him. So we're kind of lucky he didn't, otherwise we'd have to remember that. But, of course, we defeated them in the Revolution and became the United States. It is named after the Greek god of the sky. So Uranus is the Greek god of the sky. The day is about 17 hours, so it takes about 17 hours for the planet to make one rotation. One revolution is about 84 Earth years, so it takes a long time for Uranus to go all the way around the sun. It has 11 known rings, with the possibility that there might be 13, but we know 11 for sure. It has 27 known moons. Again, it's tough. It's a long ways away. There might be other smaller moons, but we know about 27. It's tipped on its side. That could possibly be due to a collision with something else. And as part of that collision, not only is it tipped on its side, it also rotates backwards, just like Venus does. It rotates the wrong direction. It's approximately 4 times wider than the Earth, and it is the coldest planet in the solar system, even though it is not the most distant. Neptune is further, but it is still colder. All right, the moons and rings of Uranus. So there are 27 known moons. The largest are Titania and Oberon. There is one moon called Miranda that has canyons that are 12 times deeper than the Grand Canyon. If you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, you know how deep that is. Imagine going 12 times further in. That is an incredibly deep gorge. Ariel is bright and young. I know it sounds like we're talking about a person, but it has very few large craters. So by bright and young, it means that the surface is somehow changing, which means it must have some sort of volcanism or plate tectonics that keep regenerating the surface. Umbriel is dark, old, and has many large craters, so kind of opposite of Ariel. It is not changing its surface, so these craters stay. Oberon is the outermost. It's old, and it also has many large craters, so it's the furthest one away. There are 8 small moons that act as shepherds for most of the rings. So they kind of keep the rings together. So a shepherd moon, as has been mentioned before, is one that kind of just keeps things. It's almost like shepherding sheep, but it's keeping the rings in place. Total of 11 rings. There are 9 inner and 2 outer. 9 inner rings are dark gray, and the 2 outer rings, one of them is red and the other is blue. So they kind of have this reddish and bluish hue to them. Okay, moving on to Neptune. The darker blue planet. So Uranus is lighter blue, Neptune is darker blue, and you can notice that there's kind of a dark spot on it, the great dark spot that is actually, as far as I know, cleared up at this point. It is approximately 30 astronomical units away. We cannot see Neptune. It was actually discovered mathematically. They noticed there was kind of a perturbation or kind of something messing with the orbit of Uranus, and they were trying to figure out what it could be. So mathematically, they predicted there might be a planet out there, and sure enough, there was. It was last visited over 30 years ago by Voyager 2. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 are something we'll talk a little bit about in the last section of at the end of the year, but they are a couple of spacecraft that we sent out of the solar system, and on its way out, Voyager 2 swung by Neptune. It is the 8th and most distant planet, 2.8 billion miles away. It takes sunlight 4 hours and 9 minutes to reach Neptune. It only takes 8 minutes and about 20 seconds for sunlight to hit the Earth. It takes a long time for light to get all the way out to Neptune, 4 hours and 9 minutes. It is 4 times wider than the Earth, so it's about the same size as Uranus. Its atmosphere is mostly hydrogen, helium, and methane, and it has a very faint ring system. On the picture that I just had on the last slide, you can see it more prominently because that's a false color picture. It has 14 moons that are known. It has a 16-hour day, so it's approximately the same length of day as Uranus, but it takes almost double the amount of time to get all the way around the sun, 165 Earth years. Now, because Pluto has an orbit that is so elliptical, kind of more like a football shape as opposed to a basketball, it's sometimes actually closer to the sun than Neptune. It actually goes inside of Neptune's orbit, but it never actually crosses Neptune's orbit, so they will never run into each other. Okay, the rings and moons, and we'll focus on one of the moons, and that's called Triton, because that's the biggest of the moons. Okay, the rings are very faint, and they're kind of reddish. And they're kind of reddish because they are ice that is covered with silicates. Those are a type of rock that kind of give off a reddish color. There are 3 rings, with the first one detected in 1968 and the rest seen by Voyager in 1989. It has 14 moons, Triton being the only one that's actually large enough to be a sphere. The other ones are so small that they look like chunks of rock just flying around, or like asteroids. Triton comprises 99.5% of the mass orbiting Neptune. So that means if we took all of the rings and all of the little moons and Triton and we smashed it all together, Triton would be 99.5% of that mass, and the other 0.5 would be all the other stuff. It has a retrograde orbit, so it's going backwards. And because of that, it's likely that it was a captured asteroid or a dwarf planet would be a better way of putting it. So we say like a dwarf planet because it's actually larger than Pluto, and Pluto is a dwarf planet. It's the 7th largest moon in the entire solar system. It has active geysers that spew out nitrogen, and it is, they believe, to be about 15 to 35% water ice on the surface. And that was based on what we could see from Voyager's mission out there. All right, that is the end of this section. So that is the end of the discussion on the ice giants, and it is the end of the discussion of the 4 largest planets in our solar system.